What's going on, guys? Sephiroth here, and today we're going to be talking about Guild versus Guild and how to build your defenses and how you should be thinking when you're creating them. Let's get into it. So the reason I wanted to make this video was because they obviously changed the map with the towers. So loads of people will be kind of thinking, how do I make my new defense? So when it comes to building these defenses, there's a few core things that should be applied to every single account, right? The first one, you're obviously going to need a tank. You're going to need a healer to keep your tank alive. You're going to need DPS, and you're going to need crowd control, CC. And getting those elements all built into your defenses is kind of key to a successful defense. Then you start getting into all the little intricacies of different types of damage with your DPS units, and positioning where you don't want it to be easy for people to bait your ultimates and things like that. All right, so I'm going to try and talk you through how to start building a defense. So in order to make it a bit more accessible, I'm going to avoid making these defenses with ancient exclusives and things like that, because I'm just going to show you how to build a defense. So I am going to use lords, but just lords from the regular pool, right? Because having the lord bonus in any defense always makes a difference. It just makes your units tankier, makes them deal more damage, and it's just an easy way to get that extra bit of oomph into your defense. So we'll start with someone like Torador. Right, so you use Torador as your base, right? And then you think, okay, so got my tank. Now, who will I use as a healer? Now, a really good, accessible healer is Lily, right? She's an epic hero. And for Guild versus Guild, she is so good. Even in some of the end game guilds, the highest guilds, that you will still find defenses that use Lily because she has a passive that prevents incoming fatal damage one time. Right, so they're going to be wailing away at your tank. Lily's going to give them just one extra life where she'll throw up a shield on them. So when you've got Torador who already has a revive in him, she pairs really well with him. All right. So now you've got your tank who also incidentally throws out crowd control because he stuns. Right. He's really useful for that. So now you obviously want some damage. So you could have someone like Arrogance, who is incredible. He can hit air, he can hit ground, and throws out a ton of damage and also benefits from the Lord bonus. Or you can use someone like Valk. So Valk is great because she does magic damage as a floor unit. So if we're going to put a platform unit out, say someone like Hatset or someone like Nyx, you're going to want magic damage to supplement that. You want physical damage and you want magic damage because people will throw Templars at you, or they might throw the Pharaoh Guardian, that Pharaoh tank at you. You want to be able to take both. You need to deal both types of damage. Valk in her role also hits air units, so it's just extra utility there. And her revive, again, just another way to make it harder to kill Torador. Valk will revive if he gets killed. And so now you've got your two DPS units, you've got your healer, you've got your CC and your tank. And so now you're thinking, I can either put in another DPS unit, which will obviously help kill things quicker, or I can put in some crowd control. So then you start to think, maybe I could use someone like Boreas, or someone who's even more accessible and free to play. You can use, oh, not her, although she is fantastic in defense in Guild versus Guild. You want Greed. There he is. Greed is incredible in Guild versus Guild. The slows he puts out, the frequency at which he puts them out is so useful. So now, look, you've got a comp based on those principles that you need in defense. So you could even put Torador in a morale set, or you could put him in an invig set, a tanky invig set, although I personally think every tank that you have should be in a Guardian set, but it's what you choose to do. So you got your Torador there, you got your Valk here, you can put your Nyx over there, you can put Lily here, and Greed there. These aren't the most meta heroes out there, these are more accessible heroes, but this defense is not bad. Right, it's got all those elements that you need. You're able to hit air units. You do magic damage. You do piercing damage. You've got again another source of magic damage and amazing crowd control in these two. You've got Lily, who's a solid healer. This is a viable defense for people who don't have better heroes. So we'll use that same principle using another lord. So let's take Aracha. Incredible again because she extends that range. It means you can hit further away. Now, the thing with Aracha is, or Araka, or whatever you want to call her, she is not the best DPS unit. So you need to make her quick because she has that stun. Every 5 hits, she'll throw out a stun. So if you build her quick and tanky, you can have her as a back unit. She's not good enough as a tank as a first unit. So you're going to go and you're going to choose the best tank you have. So whether that's, if Regulus is the best tank you have, you use Regulus. If you've got Brokir, amazing, use Brokir. So put in a tank. Next, you're going to look for your damage, or you can put a healer in. So again, Lily, really good here because she also benefits from the Lord bonus. Right? So now you've got your tank, you've got a bit of crowd control, you've got your healer. Now we want actual damage, right? So again, someone like Nyx, if you want to mix it up, you can use obviously Silas. He's going to benefit, he's good, although the downside to Silas is when his ult is not up, he is not dealing a lot of good damage, right? So that is a big downside to Silas in Guild versus Guild. But let's use someone who is actually part of the common bucket, Nyx. Right, so again, this is now looking okay, but you want a bit of magic damage in there. So you could be looking at someone like Boreas, right? Or you could be looking at a Comet. You could be looking at, you want this team, it's looking for a bit of magic damage. Now, Boreas is amazing because he obviously deals damage, but he's also crowd control. He's got those freezes in there. So you throw her down there, or you could, with this lineup, you could technically put her here because she will reach that tile. I don't know why, but in Guild versus Guild, for some reason, it doesn't show the Lord bonus, Aracha's Lord bonus, where she extends by 1 tile. So she will hit that tile and this tile. You can put your Nyx here because, again, Nyx's range gets extended and it will get extended to here. You can then put Boreas here. So he will trigger when they come here. And you can do Lily like that. That works. You've got all your DPS units, you've got your crowd control all hitting this area for Regulus to hold. You've got your healer facing both of your ground units, and she will revive Regulus when he goes down. Again, another viable defense. And you could technically set it up down below as well, where you go here, you've got Regulus there. You can actually you can face them either way. You face like that. And again, this is viable. So all of your units are hitting where they need to hit. And again, remember, this is all getting extended. A Raptor getting extended here doesn't make a difference, but these guys are all hitting where they need to hit. So that is how you build a defense. You start, I think it's a good idea to start with whatever lord that you have, and hopefully you will have lords, at least one or two, and you build around them for the best comp that you can get, which ties together all those units. So now, if you apply that to a team where you aren't restricted, and say you do have a slightly better roster, right? So then you start to get into these teams where you've got your Garn. And so using the same principles, right? So Garn is really good as a tank and as a lord. So build around him. Now, my DPS only hits floor units, but the floor units she hits. So Ardea is a queen here. Ingrid. There are so many videos out there that talk through it. I've got a video out there on Ingrid as well about how bonkers she is as a hero, how good she is. So you've got your physical damage, you've got your magic damage here, and now we want obviously your healer. Carnelian makes things incredibly difficult when you've got her not letting you kill heroes, right? Then we put in, say, a bit of crowd control, and also someone is able to put in a bit of damage, and suddenly you've built a comp with the same principles. All right, so it doesn't matter which champions you have, which heroes you have, use those principles to build your defense. And when you're building your defense, think about why you're building it. What is your opposition going to throw at you? So you need to think they can either throw a Templar tank who's good physical tankiness. Your DPS need to be able to deal with that. Are they going to try and swarm you? Have you got enough AoE damage out there? Have you got enough single target damage out there? These are all things that you do need to look at, okay? Because if all your units are single target, you're not going to do well. If all your units are AoE, but then they put in one massive, amazing tanky unit, you're going to struggle, right? So you need to have a good blend of all of this. And then obviously your crowd control. You need to be able to hold them in their place long enough for your DPS to do their job, right? So hopefully you've gained a fair bit of knowledge from what I've talked about. And once you've put together your comp, use the members of your guild to test. Use friendly face off and get them to test your defense. Multiple strategies, get different people to test them and see where your weaknesses are. And when you go up against other guilds, watch your losses. Watching your losses is more important than watching your wins. Yeah, watching your wins feels great, but you're not learning much from them. Watching your losses is where you can fine tune. Are your champions quick enough? Because sometimes the comp might be fine, but your builds aren't. So if you say you've got a greed and he's not, you're finding units are still getting through. Is his raid region high enough? Is his speed high enough? Is he controlling them and slowing them down enough? Little things like that. Make sure you watch it. And once you start doing that, you'll see your defenses slowly but surely get better and better and better. So yeah, that's it for my basics to building a guild versus guild defense. If there were any other kind of bits of information that you were looking for, please comment below. If you found it useful, please like, please subscribe, because I will be putting out more content. And hopefully I'll be seeing you guys soon. Peace out. Stay blessed. I've been Zephyros.